Nora Speaks is a weekly podcast that tugs at the soul and consciousness of the Black community. With show topics such as youth empowerment, education, women's impact, and civic engagement, Nora Speaks challenges the listener to not only join the movement, but be the movement. On the show, you'll learn from insightful guests who have demonstrated capacity in these fields and more, and I'm your host, Nora Muhammad. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to another episode of the Nora Speaks podcast, and I am your host, Nora Muhammad. Welcome to episode 247 of the podcast. I thank you for being a returning listener if you are, and if this is your first time listening, I thank you, and I would encourage you to hit the subscribe button. By hitting the subscribe button every time a new episode is released, you will receive a notification so that you can remain up to date. And I suggest listening to this episode and maybe a few others. And if you like what you hear on the Nora Speaks podcast, I do ask that you share it with your friends, your family, share it on social media, share it with someone who you think may also appreciate the content that is provided by the Nora Speaks podcast. And in this episode, I've titled it, Denial Does Not Alter Reality. Denial does not alter reality. And I've been trying to craft the message for this specific episode for quite some time. And one of the catalysts for this, or references, I'll say, I was a friend of mine had shared with me that a woman who she is friends with or follows on social media, this woman, an adult woman, posted a picture of her daughter. I believe it was in celebration of her birthday. And the picture that she posted, or at least one of them, had her daughter in something that was super, super provocative, very sexual. And we've seen pictures that mothers have posted in acknowledgement of their daughter's birthdays. And, I've thought, why in the world of all the pictures of your child would you post this one? Even if she's an adult, and a young adult woman, on the beach in her bikini, kneeling with her legs open, doesn't seem like the picture that a mother would post on her own social media page in acknowledgement of her daughter's birthday. But mothers are posting these kinds of pictures, or a picture that she may have taken off her daughter's social media page, where, this fascination that we have with taking pictures from the back, looking over our shoulders at the camera so that we can show, they can show, the beauty, I guess, of their form, the shapeliness of their bodies. And, mothers are posting these pictures. And so in this particular social media post, this mother posted a picture of her daughter in a very provocative attire, very provocative pose. And a man commented about how this woman is beautiful. And now this is an adult woman, not a 9, 10, 12-year-old child, but an adult woman. And the mother went crazy, making subsequent social media posts of this man's picture and profile and saying that, he's a pedophile, and calling him all kinds of ugly things because he liked and commented about the picture. And mind you, the comment was not a real sexual comment. It was just acknowledging that this is a beautiful young woman, or he thought she was beautiful. And it's like, what did you expect? When men see a beautiful woman, like, it is natural. It is natural that men are attracted to the female form. Just like women are attracted to the male form. It is natural. It's put there so that we can come together and make more humans. And so this insane uh, description of men who comments, talk about, women and our bodies, especially when we're showing our bodies to men, the backlash, I really don't understand it. And in a lot of ways, I do feel, I feel bad for men because, in so many ways, men aren't able to be truthful. Men aren't able to be honest. And, obviously, you know, there shouldn't be, weird men lurking after children. However, when women are at work and dress provocative, or at work functions and are dressing provocative, or out in the, out for an evening dinner or evening drinks, dress provocatively. I don't understand how women think that men should be desensitized to what nature made them to desire, right? And one way that we can help men is by not showing them or putting in their faces something that nature put in them to desire, to lust after, in a sexual way. We could still be attractive if we are covering ourselves, but this idea that men should be suppressing something that nature did not put in them to suppress, I should be able to wear what I want. Well, clearly we're in America, and you certainly can, and that can come with consequences. It is not me saying, though, that because a woman dresses provocatively that she should be harassed. That is not at all what I'm saying. However, what I am saying is that men in their nature are not, it's difficult for someone to see something and not be fixated, or for it to not capture their attention. You may see a woman who's out at dinner with her husband or boyfriend, and a woman dressed very provocatively walks by, and that woman is staring at that man to see to see if he looks. It's, well, he do himself well to try to muster all the discipline in the world to not look, to not have to deal with the consequences of the heat of the argument by him looking in that other woman's direction. But sisters, we have to be for real. We cannot deny truth and think that reality is going to change. And there's no movement. There's no new social language that we add to the lexicon. There's nothing that should be changing what nature put in us all. And by us not understanding it, and I'm thinking that's what it is, that we just don't understand our nature. We don't understand the nature of men. And this is not me giving bad behavior by men a pass in any way, but on this podcast, I certainly don't give bad behavior by women a pass either. I'm just saying that we have to understand reality, and we have to understand nature. Perhaps we have these figures that are in front of us, that in popular modern media that have, made it common that we see women uncovered, dressed provocatively, with showing our, our backsides, showing our bosom, our cleavage, dresses that have entire backs out, skirts or dresses or shorts that are, cutting way up into our crotch. This kind of thing has become very, very common. And just because it's common doesn't make it right. Just because it's permissible in this society doesn't make it right. You know, there are some countries that we go to and we travel, and it is the law that the women be covered. It's so that they can have some order in their society, because they also recognize that when a man is distracted by his lust, he is not going to be the most productive person that he needs to contribute to that society. And that the uncovering of a woman is something that should be done privately. The uncovering of a man is something that should be done privately, and that's just a civilized way. And living in this in this society that we have, because things are permissible, we I think are faulty in our logic to not think that there's going to be consequences that come from that. And so in this podcast, in this episode, I want women to understand that nature is what nature is. And now, you know, there are many chemicals that are that are, you know, contaminating our food and sold on the market that is having an impact on our nature. But inherently, it is natural that men are attracted to the female form. I mean, I would like them to be, and we are attracted to the male form, and that is so that we can keep making more people. However, sisters, you know, the saying that I want to be judged for what's in my mind. Well, that's great. Then why are you showing your behind? Because you're telling us, you're communicating to all of us that you're okay with everybody. I mean, everybody visually consuming your body. That's what you're telling us. That's what you're telling us you think about yourself and what you think about us. So if I'm judging you by what's in your mind, well, clearly that's in your mind. Now, I also understand that we are not taught about our natures. This is something that is something that we just kind of put to the side. We cast aside. It's not something that we have taken an interest in teaching our daughters about, teaching our sons about. Teaching our sons. If you shouldn't spend a lot of time with a woman that in close proximity, because there's a natural law, and you may find yourself becoming attracted, and that wasn't your intention. You may have already a significant other. So be mindful of, for example, staring into a woman's eyes, or sisters, looking into a man's eyes being the windows to the soul. We communicate a lot with our eyes. So, that this isn't something that we're teaching our daughters, our sons, as they're growing up and going into adolescence. We're not teaching our daughters that you don't sit on men's laps. We're not teaching our sons, you don't sit on men's laps or allow your sisters or your female cousins to sit on the laps of strange men. We're not teaching these things. And denying nature does not alter the reality of what is. And when we deny the reality of what is, we're not hurting nature. We're going to hurt ourselves with the choices and decisions that we make, or the inappropriate teaching and training and guidance that we give to our young people, because they too will follow along. I thought it was so funny. This was many years ago, where the rapper Cardi B was on a video, a social media live video, and she was, had her music playing, and she was, twerking, dropping, who she is and what she does. And when she realized her daughter was coming in the room, she shut it down. Listen, because she understands that there are consequences to what we expose our children to. And so what I'm saying to the Nora Speaks audience, and what I'm saying to Black women, our denial does not alter reality. There is nature that is put in all of us for a reason, And if we are not in tune with nature, we're not going to change nature, but we can certainly hurt ourselves and make poor choices that don't serve us. It's so common to hear people say, to get rid of those things that don't serve you, or to distance yourself from people that don't serve you. Well, what about the decisions that we make? What about thinking that we hold on to false thoughts that aren't in alignment with nature and reality? Let's get rid of those and let's understand who and what we are, and do away with some of this false propaganda and false teaching that the attraction that men have of women in the woman's form somehow makes this man a creep. It's insane. I mean, think about when there's a food that you smell and you like and you're hungry, and when you smell a certain food, we start salivating, right? Because our minds, our brains sense something that's appetizing, and we start salivating in preparation to receive that meal, right? Listen, it's not a choice that we make. We don't say, well, I'm not going to salivate. It's not a choice that we make. It is nature. It is nature, right? We can decide that we're going to hold our breath. And after we pass out, our involuntary respiratory system is going to kick in, because it is natural that the body preserves its life. It is nature. You can drink all the water that you want and say, I'm not going to the bathroom. Well, after you hurt your bladder and then you have an accident, you'll realize that you can't fight nature. Nature is what it is, and it's better that we understand it than we try to deny it, because our denial does not alter reality. So we have to be in tune. We have to do away with these delusions that we've been teaching or sharing with each other and teaching our young people. And there's so many delusions that we have to talk about in our community, but this is just one. This idea that the attraction that a man has to the female form makes him a creep. No, that makes him natural. That makes him a man. And this ongoing war that this society has taken against men. I mean, it's time that we put a expiration date on that, because if there's going to be a war against men, sisters, that's also a war against you and I. And I know that I want to be in alignment with reality, and I know that I need a whole man, a real man, a natural man, and I will do my best that my behaviors, my decisions, my thoughts are in alignment with reality and in reality and with nature, so that I'm making the best decisions possible, the safest decisions possible, the most intelligent decisions possible. Denial does not alter reality. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Nora Speaks podcast. Until next time, stay in peace.
We were brought here as a piece of property, and to keep that piece of property, it is to not allow the property to know the value of the property. What I mean by that, if you had known the history of yourself, you would not have been made a slave. And you won't be a slave now if you have a knowledge of yourself. It's hard to enslave a person that have equal knowledge with you. You just can't do it. And so this knowledge of yourself is the thing that will free you from what you have been suffering from.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Nora Speaks podcast. Be on the lookout for a new episode coming at you fresh next week. And as always, if you want to learn more about me and the work that I do, visit my website, norahmuhammad.com. Or if you have a listener question, email me at info@norahspeaks.com. You can also follow the Nora Speaks podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Nora Speaks Podcast. I'll be sure to include links in the show notes. If this show has value to you, please subscribe, rate, and review, and share it with family and friends. And be sure to check out previous episodes. And remember, don't just join the movement, be the movement. Stay in peace.